Everybody, and welcome back to New Jersey Real Estate Training, your number one resource for free realtor training in the Garden State. My name is Dave Blinder. I'm a licensed real estate agent here at eXp Realty in New Jersey. I'm also a certified mentor and real estate coach. I'm here to help you along your real estate journey, whether you're a new agent looking to get licensed, just starting out, or maybe an experienced agent. Today's training, we're going to be looking into Garden State MLS again. We're going to be looking at putting one of your contacts, clients, or leads into Garden State MLS and setting them up on a recurring property alert email system. We often call those drip campaigns, just like a leaking faucet. They continue to drip and are always going. And the value of one of these drip campaigns or auto emails is your client is being contacted by you regularly. We call that touch points in real estate or the business world often. So that's great that you're in constant communication. Although when you're doing an email campaign, I always recommend following up with periodic phone calls or text as well, even sending out some personalized videos so that you're providing a lot of value in showing your unique personality to your clients, contacts, leads, and sphere of influence. So we're going to dive back into Garden State MLS today. And I'm logged in as an agent in good standing. Only realtors and I believe appraisers typically have access to these MLSs. So first things first, in Garden State MLS, after you're logged in, I'm going to go to the contact field and I'm going to click on add contact. I'm going to save um, my client, my lead, my friend, or if you're doing practice records, you can always just enter yourself, which is never a bad idea. So I've put my name in here before for many training purposes. Let's enter my alter ego, my first and last name, David Raymond. No one would ever track me down if I used that. Um, so the only required fields are last name, first name. You can put a lot more information in here. I rarely recommend storing most of your pertinent information and client notes in your database, such as KV Core. We'll look at that in a different um, video. It can't hurt to replicate that information here on the MLS, but I think it's a safer place for me, easier to access in my CRM, my client retention software. So I just stick their first and last name because they're required here. You could put some information about buyer or seller. You could put their phone number if you wanted to. There's really no reason not to. Um, I think HTML is going to be your default email type. And of course, if we're sending out emails, we have to enter an email address. So let's put in njrealestatetraining@gmail.com. And there is not anything else I'm going to be required to put in this field to save them as a contact. So uh, time is often money in our field. Let's just hit the save button and keep going. So changes have been saved. David Raymond, my alter ego, is saved in Garden State MLS. Great, so they're in there. What do I do now? Well, let's send them the type of properties they're looking for. Maybe you met these folks at an open house and hopefully you wrote down exactly what they want, because the better you know what type of housing they're looking for, the more they're going to trust you. People want attention to details. It really matters, and I recommend taking a lot of notes at open houses or on phone calls so you're not guessing later, well, what town did they want, or did they say that their parents are living with them, so they need at least an in-law suite. So I'm going to begin by clicking on this residential search on Garden State MLS. We have some criteria left over from our last search, and we're going to do something a little different just to mix things up. Okay, well let's imagine this case that David Raymond tells us that he is looking for a home in Sussex County, New Jersey. A lot of beautiful areas to live in there. And if they're a buyer, what they really want are the coming soon and active records. They don't need the under contracts. Those are houses they can't really buy. That doesn't do them too much good. And what if this fellow at the open house said, I'm willing to live anywhere in the county for now. Just send me the newest listings. You don't have to select a town. You can deselect them all. That's going to send by auto email all of the listings from these towns. But David Raymond tells us he must have a basement, and it's got to be a finished basement. So I'm going to, in this search field, see what comes up when I start typing in basement. We have basement description. And what if he says he's got to have a walkout basement? It's really important for him. He wants windows. He doesn't want the basement to feel too basementy. I think that a walkout basement often indicates a sliding glass door. Not always. Sometimes it's Bilco, but a lot of times you get some nice um, natural light coming in through a walkout basement door. It's a good starting point. And let's say he says, well, I'm up for a townhouse or a single family home, either or, as long as it meets my needs and it's affordable and in my budget. It's got to be at least 2 bedrooms. So we're going to clear X out of the prior search just to get back to our baseline here. You can go down these fields in order. After the first approximate 10 criteria that you can click through, they begin to be in alphabetical order. There's a whole lot of search fields in Garden State MLS, so it's pretty easy to get lost in here. I use the property subtype field very, very often, as you do usually need to differentiate between condos and townhouse, single family. They're a little bit different animals, and many of your clients or leads are looking for one specifically and not the other. So in this case, I'm going to be looking at townhouses as well as single family homes for David Raymond. So he says it's got to be at least 2 bedrooms, nothing too tiny, and it's got to be at least 1.5 bathrooms. So in Garden State MLSs and most other MLSs, 1.5 bathrooms is written out as 1.1 because 2 bathrooms indicates 2 full bathrooms with a shower or a tub. 1.1 means you've got one full with a shower and a tub and one with a powder room with a sink and a toilet. Always good to have more than one when you have guests over and stuff like that. Many of our clients are going to let us know what their budget is that's important, and housing is not cheap in New Jersey, so we should take that seriously. And we want to kind of play a matchmaker when we're sending out these houses. The more we send our leads the most pertinent houses and listing, the more they're going to trust us and associate us with being the guy or gal, the realtor who's going to find them the perfect house and knows them and knows their wants and needs. And if they feel like you don't know them, they're going to feel like there's a lack of trust and that you're not the number one agent for them. It's important to establish that trust and rapport. Okay, so list price, let's say we can click on that over here. And David Raymond says, I am not going to spend a penny more than $400,000 on this house. Should give us a lot of options, 2 beds, 1.1 bathrooms. We've got that walkout basement. Let's see how many records are coming up. We might need to narrow this down further. Okay, it's only 29 records. Great, so that's not a whole lot. And if we hit yes, we can view the records. That's not really what we're doing here. But you could click through these and kind of see what am I going to send out right now to David Raymond. How these property alerts work, the drip campaigns and auto emails in Garden State MLS. My understanding is for the first email, it may send out all of these active and coming soon listings to your client, but on subsequent emails, my understanding it's only going to be sending from then on the newest listing. So I think that's your order of operations here. And just a note, a lot of this could be done from your database such as KV Core. That is often my preferred way of sending out listings as it's branded to my website. There's some different communication modes I can use on my KV Core website, but if you don't have your own IDX website, there is nothing wrong with sending out MLS drip campaigns. Sometimes you want to email them directly to yourself so that you know what's going on. Then you can review these further and send them to your client. So I think emailing yourself sometimes is actually the way to go with these automated email campaigns. So, You could restrict these by days on the market and all that good stuff, or style. Um, if they're just a condo or townhouse buyer, they might tell you, I want the end units only. I only want to have a maximum of one neighbor. I don't want to have a neighbor on both sides of me, just one. So that would be an end unit, which are going to be pricier. An interior unit is going to typically have neighbors on both sides of them. A first floor unit means a ground level home. Multi-floor unit indicates it's not a single story home. It's usually going to be like a multi-level townhouse. So there's some differentiating you could do there. But let's say I want to send these houses out to David Raymond. So we've seen how to pull them up. We could view them on a map, but we're going to hit, of course, that auto email setup button next. So what you want to do is you can see I have a lot of these. I've sent out quite a bit of these. Some of these may have expired. Your MLS auto email campaigns do expire. I believe it's now 6 months. That sounds like a long time, but it's really not in real estate world when you're dealing with follow-ups. 6 months is not a long time, and as realtors, we're in it for the long haul. It will take many, many folks, not all, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years to find their home. Our job is to provide a lot of value, keep people updated, and to not give up on them, and that creates a lot of trust with them. So save search. I like to use something meaningful because I have a lot of saved searches here, and I want to know what these words actually mean when I'm browsing my own saved searches on the Garden State MLS. So let's put in something like David Raymond, Sussex with walkouts. So that I believe, kind of sums up what we've got going here, right? It's kind of a logical name and descriptive of that search. That's for us. It's not for them. They don't see that. That's for us to recall this. Maybe we want to duplicate that search for someone else. Maybe we want to alter it. That's the importance of thinking about your saved search name. Now I hit the next step button. So now we're getting somewhere. You could add your contacts right here, but I've already added David Raymond to my contacts and potentially put in additional information about his wants and needs as well. You could search for him, or you can go down there in alphabetical order. You can select the client. David Raymond selected. I'll hit the next step button. Okay, now we're in the auto email field. We're getting close to the finish line. It is critical under activation that it's on. If that button accidentally says off, they're not going to get any communications from you, and that could be quite disappointing to both you and your client if they're not getting the houses that you had promised to send them. It's letting us know the search name. I don't think there's any way your client can see that, but of course you want to use some discretion while naming these searches too. Frequency is very important. They might have told you, don't bombard me with emails, but keep me updated. That could be a weekly or bi-weekly mailing. If they said that finding the house is an absolute priority, you definitely want to email them the listings on a daily basis. So you have their primary email address this is going to here. You could add an additional manually entered email address here, although I do recommend having everyone in here as a contact. You want to safeguard your information. You want to have some redundancy in case your database crashes. Oh, you know what? I have that client's information in Garden State MLS. I can pull it up. I know who they are, and I know what they wanted. You could CC them, a spouse, child, parent, anyone you want. But you could very easily just copy yourself. This is your email address registered to Garden State MLS here. That's never a bad idea. I think my phone is ringing, but I'm not going to get that. We're going to get through this training. The default email type is HTML in Garden State MLS. Read receipt. There's no reason not to do that. Then you can follow up after they've read the email. You may not always get a read receipt though. It depends on what type of email service I believe your clients are utilizing. Subject search is, I think that there is a lot of psychology to this. You want to make sure that these clients, leads, online folks, friends, don't think you're sending spam. So you want to have an enticing um, subject name here, something that's logical, something that's exciting, something that says, I really want to open this so that they know what you're sending them. So, I've thought about this process before, and, in this case, we're sending Sussex County listings. So I might put in subject name newest Sussex County listings for you, something like that. So they have an idea. It's not, don't leave it blank. Um, something like real estate, just alone a title is a little boring. Um, this could be up to personal preference. This is one of my starting points. You have up to 100 characters to enter your subject name in Garden State MLS. Can zoom in on that a little bit. This field. Whoops. Now I'm blocking it. Okay. So you've got a different fields here for your initial message, your first automatic email or drip campaign that goes out, and then your subsequent ones, the ones that go out after the first one. I do something very simple here. I often write, for example, hi Dave. I wanted to let you know about the most recent um, listings in Sussex, which may fit your needs. If you'd like to schedule to see any of these homes, just let me know. I am always happy to help. I do have a signature set up in Garden State MLS. We can look at that elsewhere, but in this case, you have up to 600 characters. You can and should type out your credentials. David Blinder, eXp Realty. Oops, autocorrect in there. You should have your cell phone, and you need to send them their office number too. That's a requirement in Jersey that you're providing that main office number where you do business from as well. Cool. So they have that, and I'm often just going to copy and paste a short message like that. Let me review it, make sure I have no typos. I don't do enough of that. I wanted to let you know about the most recent listings in Sussex County, which may fit your needs. If you'd like to schedule to see any of these homes, just let me know. I am always happy to help. Someone want to schedule any of these homes with me. Let them know that you can help them with any of these properties at all. You don't have to be the listing agent, but you're ready, willing, qualified to represent them on any of these listings as their buyer's agent, and that's what you're doing in this case with your buyer's agency. I just copy and paste that, boom, in both fields. I haven't found a reason to deviate from that. What I like to do is the client full is chock full of information that's got your tax data, your heat type, your stuff like that. If you wanted to send them something prettier, you could send that multi-photo to very attractive folder. A little less information though than the client full, so you could send a combination of them. I most often will revert to the client full. It's got the tax information, it's got the acreage, it may tell you what rooms are on which floor, and that's not going to be present on all these other emails. Then you just hit the save button, and you can see that's turned on right here. And it's connected to my contact, so I'm back in that contact field now. If you ever want to see what auto emails are attached to the client, you can go under View Contact, under Garden State MLS Advanced View, and you can scroll back down in alphabetical order. You can see I've got a lot of them. I've been a member of Garden State MLS for over 4 years now. A lot of folks in here. And I've clicked on David Raymond's record. We have just the information I entered before. We can see attached searches. Now, attached search doesn't mean it's set up to automatically email. It just means you save their preferences. An attached search is not, by definition, automatically emailing out a drip campaign. But we can see under auto email search that the attached search is set to go out automatically We can see the frequency is daily. We have the expiration date here, so that actually looks like it's about 3 months from today. It's important to know that because these may expire and you might not notice it. You could turn it off here, but you can extend it another 3 months, a maximum. One of the reasons I sometimes prefer to send these out from my KV Core database is it's similar. I can't get into that granular level of detail I can from the MLS searches like acreage, like construction style, but they don't expire. They'll continually go. And for me, that's very, very important that, I'm multitasking. I'm doing a lot of things, working with many clients. If these accidentally expire, then my touch points or my drip campaign is interrupted, and that's something I don't want to occur. So you should be going into Garden State MLS often, checking if any of these have expired, um, so that you maintain contact with your people, with your clients and leads. You don't want to break up that chain of communication. And if the emails had gone out, these will be scheduled to go out daily, as we know. I believe that's around 5 or 6 a.m. They typically will be emailed out. I'm not positive. You would be able to see what had gone out, the next day in email history or maybe in the ML log. There are other attachments here, but this is primarily what I do to double check what am I sending them. You could have multiple automatic emails per person too, so there doesn't have to be just one search. You could have multiple automatic emails if there were completely different searches you wanted for that person. So hopefully that tells you how to set up a recurring automatic email through Garden State MLS, one of these drip campaigns, because our job is about doing things intentionally, about having that steady line of communication with our leads and our people, because we need to be interacting with a lot of people on a daily basis as their timings may vary. We want to have a lot of folks in our database. We want to be speaking to them on the phone and even getting in front of them to ask how they're doing. But this is part of my process for sending out property alerts for a buyer. So I wanted to thank everybody again so much for tuning in to New Jersey Real Estate Training. My name is Dave Blinder, again at eXp Realty. I am not only a real estate agent, I'm also a mentor at eXp Realty. I also enjoy doing real estate coaching. If you'd like any more information about onboarding with eXp Realty, I'd love to talk to you about that. If you have any more question on MLS training anywhere in New Jersey, just drop that in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks, and I'll see you in my next video.